Okay, so now I have already completed my eye look. And again, start with your eyes first. Then if you have any fall off from your shadows, you can go in and wipe that off prior to starting your complexion. So first things first, I take my Blenderful sponge and I run it under warm water. You wanna make sure your water's warm. Get it nice and damp. And then I usually take a paper towel. You can also take a clean towel, but make sure it's clean. And just literally squeeze as much of that moisture out as you can. So my skin's already prepped with the priming spray. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a quick drink. So next what I'm gonna do is, before doing my foundation, if I have any redness that I need to correct, I will go in with my concealer number 1 first. That is your concealer that has a little bit of that green tint to it. And that green tint is actually what helps block out redness. So if you ever have like the rosacea in your cheeks, or like me, you might just have some friendly little monthly reminders pop up on your face, I'll just go right in there and kind of cover up some of that redness. I have this scar I've had my whole life, well not my whole life, since I got the scar, and I feel like it's just always red. So I like to go in with that color correcting concealer first. And again, you can go right in with your finger. If you don't like using your finger, use your concealer brush, or also you could do the pointed tip of your Blenderful sponge. And my nose is so red too, because I've been blowing it so much. When is this cold gonna go away, right? Okay. So that's pretty well covered. So the next part with our foundation. So being wax-based, it does need a little bit of love. It needs a little bit of warming. So this is my color here, actually. There's 2 ways you can do this. Again, if you don't mind using your hand, you can take your finger right into it, warm it up. You'll be able to tell. So you can see right here on my palette, once I get in there and I start that heat transfer from my fingertip, you can tell it's already starting to get nice and creamy in there. So from there, you can go ahead and like war paint it right on your face is one option. If you do not want to use your fingers, then again, use a clean brush, or you can use that concealer brush if your concealer is lighter. And you can go right into the product, no fingers needed in there, and swipe it. And then once you swipe it onto your face, the heat from your face will warm it up. So there's those 2 options, whatever you're most comfortable with. For myself, as long as my hands are clean when I start my whole process, I don't have a problem going right in there. So here's 2 techniques, I guess you could say, for applying foundation. Once you get it nice and creamy, again, sort of war paint it on your face. You don't need much. So again, make sure you're starting light, and because you can always add more layers. So you can go right in there just like this, and then with your bigger, flatter side of your Blenderful sponge, just start working it out. So these small kind of blotting motions and pressing it right into your skin. I'm gonna do my one side of my face this way, and then we'll go in on our under eyes later. There's no real right or wrong way as far as using concealer. If you prefer to put it on top of your foundation, you can do that also. I like to do the concealer one under my foundation, just because it has that little bit of that green tint, and my foundation will help blend and cover that. So that was just by the war paint method. I guess that, I don't know if that's an actual term, but that's kind of how it feels to me. So the next thing you can do is, again, you'd want to go in there if you're just starting, warm that up, and then you can take excuse me, you can take that flat side of your Blenderful, put it right into your product, and just about a half a twist. You don't want it too much, again, especially I'm only doing half my face this time. And then you can just kind of get it distributed all over and then start blending. It really doesn't take much to warm it up and make it creamy. You can tell as soon as you get your hand on there, your finger in there, that it's getting creamy. And again, just if you want to just go in, you don't want to use your fingers, you're using your concealer brush and blotting it onto your face. That way, your face will warm it up as well. So just allow it a little time And you'll be able to tell when you're using your Blenderful sponge that it's able to blend well. So I feel like when you go right into it like that, you get a little bit fuller coverage, even though it doesn't feel any different really. This foundation is so lightweight. So there we go. And if you need to, pull it down onto your jawline a little bit. We do color match to your neck and sort of chest area, so that is always the goal with color matching. All right, so now that you have your foundation on, let's go in, brighten up that under eye area a little bit. So with this, I like to use my Concealer Zero. I'm Shinto one for my foundation color. So you can go in there with that Concealer 0 or 2. And sort of the pattern I like to use is straight down along my nose to the tip of my nose, and then meet it out there to that outer corner. You can kind of see that. And then I'll take show you 2 different methods. So that was with my finger. You can use a brush, and again, actually, maybe I'll use the tip of the foundation, or the Blenderful this time. Or you can take the small little tip in there, and you can do the same thing with that. And we're actually going to blend it out with the Blenderful. So if you don't have the concealer brush, just use your Blenderful. So you can see that perks me right up, wakes up my under eye area. If you need to after this, you can always go in with another coat of mascara if you happen to get onto your lashes at all. And then with that color too, just kind of clean, straight line out there to the corner of my eyebrow. And then use that flat side because you probably still have a little of that product in if you want to blend it into your cheek. Because my Concealer 0 is quite a bit lighter than my skin tone. And if you want to go in for a little extra highlight, you can get into this area right in here, and we'll blend that out. And you can take that literally just straight down the middle of your nose. This sort of pops all your features out, highlights them, I guess you could say, is another, just right above those eyebrows. And onto that chin, and just right here in the center. That's kind of like right where the sun would hit you first. Sorry, my Blenderful spell fell. So that's kind of where you would like highlight your brightness on your face. And then it just kind of helps create some more dimension. And there's a whole nother thing you can do with contouring, so we can get into that too, if that's ever something you want to learn more about. All right, so that's that with the foundation and the concealer. After I get that finished, I'll go in with my translucent powder, and I like this big brush for this, and I just go right into my T-zone with this. Our translucent powder will mattify any shine and sort of gives you that nice powdery finish. There's no flashback with this, so if you have photography, you won't have to worry about your face looking white at all. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with a little bit of blush. So I'll use my Peachy today, and again, once you put that in there, like right here, like this is actually too much. You don't want to go in with that much on your brush. So be very diligent and careful about how much product you're putting on to your tools. You'll tap that off, and with blush, just learned this from a professional makeup artist over the weekend from a workshop I did. You're gonna want to start in that hairline and think of a rule of 3. So if you are a bronzer, blush, and highlighter, your blush is in the middle, highlight is here, and bronzer is here. And you wanna go right to where the top of your ear is from that hairline, and I'm using an angled blush brush, right to the top of that ear, into that hairline, and sort of pat it on, and then you can start pulling it through. And as I'm pulling this through, I'm like pulling it from my face, and you can see that in the video. Pull it away from your face. You're gonna get it right onto that cheekbone, right there. You don't wanna come in here too far. So I'll go ahead and do my next one here. Again, the goal is to lift your face. Getting it right there on that upper cheekbone. It's right where it belongs. And then I'm gonna go in with a little highlight. I'm not gonna do bronzer today, but I'm gonna take that Sweet Dreams. And if you have like a little brush that you can go in with, or you could even use your finger. Here, let me use my finger to try this first. Go right above that blush. This is another great, I always feel pretty when I have a little highlight on me, like this. And just bring it to about just the outer edge of your eye, right along the top of that cheekbone. I don't know if it shows so well in the video, but it's really pretty in person. Maybe it will work more so with the brush. There, I think my lighting's better on this side for some reason today. But you see that, how it just gives me that nice little highlight? It's nothing too fancy, it's nothing shimmery, it's just a nice little highlight. It makes me look glowy. Speaking of which, let's put that last step on, our setting spray, and keep this look on our faces for up to 16 hours, right? Okay, so same thing, T and X. All done, ta-da. Easy peasy, right? Lemon squeezy. So again, let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. Thank you.